You ever felt that knot in your stomach, that immediate, almost physical resistance when you think about having to, well, sell something? I'm talking about that voice that screams, ugh, not for me. I can't do that. I won't do that. For a long, long time, that feeling, that deep seated aversion hit me hard every time someone even whispered the word sales. Because for me, in my head, sales was about one thing: getting someone to buy something they didn't want or using pressure. It was about talking people into something. That was my deep seated misunderstanding, the distortion I carried long before I ever found my way into this profession, this home based business space. I pictured the slick, pushy car salesman from the movies, the telemarketer who wouldn't take no for an answer. That just wasn't me. I had too much respect for people, and honestly, too much respect for myself to ever be that guy. I mean, I was the guy driving a furniture truck, delivering appliances in places like Providence, Rhode Island. My job was straightforward: trade time for money, physical labor for a paycheck. No selling involved, right? Just hard work. In fact, I remember that one harrowing night, just days before Christmas, when a pair of armed robbers with shotguns burst into the store where I was working. They locked the doors, turned off the lights, pressed a gun into my chest. Now, I went home that night, and sleep didn't come, but the next morning I showed up for my shift. Why? Because quitting wasn't an option in my financial situation. I was taught to be grateful for the work, and the good employee doesn't complain. I was stuck, literally driving furniture, day in and day out, trading time for money. In that world, sales felt like a dirty word. But here's the thing about those gut feelings, those deeply ingrained beliefs: sometimes they're just wrong. They're distortions. They are, as I explained in my book On Purpose, simply ways that our mind convinces us of something that is not actually true. And today, we're going to dismantle one of the biggest ones that keep incredibly purpose-driven people like you, future home-based business owners and entrepreneurs, from stepping into the financial freedom and the impact you were truly born for. Because what if I told you that you already do sales every single day? You do it brilliantly without even realizing it. Welcome back to On Purpose, the podcast. This isn't your average self-help show. This is where we go deep, pull back the curtain on the mental barriers, the cognitive distortions, as I call them in the book, that keep you stuck, small, and playing a game you were never meant to play. This is a journey of transformation, not just information. If you've got my book On Purpose, open it up, pull up distortion number 2, and we're going to talk about that today. Today, we're diving headfirst into this beast, this belief that has crippled so many. Because of that little voice inside your head, the one that whispers, but I don't like sales, has ever stopped you cold, then this episode is your breakthrough. We're going to redefine what sales truly means in the context of your business. We're going to pull back the curtain on why so many great people get this wrong. And we're going to equip you with the belief, the identity, to share your gifts with the world unapologetically. By the end of this session, you're going to see that you already possess the most critical skills needed to thrive as an entrepreneur, and perhaps, just perhaps, you'll join the thousands of people I've met and spoken to across the US and Canada who picked up a copy of On Purpose and found themselves on a path they didn't know was possible. They loved it, and you will too once you understand how it all fits together. So let me take you back to that initial encounter, my very first brush with what was technically called direct sales. I'm on my lunch break. I deliver furniture at a store. I happen to be in the store at the moment, not out on the truck, and a man walks in. Now I'm thinking, here we go, another salesman, but he wasn't pushy. He didn't use cheesy lines. He simply asked if he could show me something. He said it would be quick, it would only take a few minutes, and they may or may not be interested. There's no pressure. Folks, 15 minutes later, I was writing him a check and becoming a new customer. Now, I never saw that man again after that day, but that product, that simple product he introduced me to, I used it. I got so much genuine value out of it that I would tell other people about my results naturally, organically. I wasn't getting paid for that. I was just sharing something good, something that worked for me, something I genuinely believed in. Think about that. This was for a decade. I was an unpaid advocate, an evangelist, really, for a product I believed in. That, my friends, is what building a home-based business is truly about at its core. But I didn't see it that way. I saw sales as a transaction, a persuasion, a closing. And that's the distortion, the false belief that sales inherently means manipulation or pushing a product on someone who doesn't want it. That's where the fear and the self-doubt creep in, paralyzing even the most enthusiastic of our new entrepreneurs. This is what I refer to in On Purpose as emotional reasoning, the false belief that your emotions are the truth, that the way you feel about a situation is a reliable indicator of reality. If you feel negative about sales, you believe sales is bad, and that's simply not true. It's kind of like when your car starts making a weird noise. You take it to the mechanic, right? Maybe you've had a bad experience before, but then you find the one. This mechanic doesn't pressure you. They diagnose the problem. They explain it clearly. They show you the broken part, and they offer a solution they genuinely believe will fix it. They educate you. And when they fix it and your car runs perfectly, what do? You don't just keep that to yourself, do you? You tell everyone that they've got to go to that mechanic, that they're honest, they're fair, and they fix my car when no one else would. You don't have to know how to be a mechanic to make that recommendation, do you? You don't need a sales script. You're just sharing a positive experience, a solution that brought you value. You're being an ambassador for that mechanic. But here's where the distortion kicks in. When we attach a commission, a financial incentive to that natural human desire to share something good, like the mechanic or that great restaurant we talked about, suddenly we label it sales. And all those negative connotations flood in. We think we have to change our approach to become something we're not. We believe that the presence of money automatically makes our actions less authentic. Well, let's go to Ralph Waldo Emerson. Emerson once said, "What you are shouts so loudly in my ears, I cannot hear what you say." Think about that. If you're internally battling the idea of being salesy, if you're uncomfortable with the word, that internal conflict, that inauthenticity is what's truly being shouted to your prospect. They're not hearing your words about the product, they're feeling your unease. But when you are authentically an ambassador for your business, that conviction shouts louder than any script ever could. Grab your journal. Take a moment right now in your journal or on a piece of paper and write down 5 things, products, services, even people, like that amazing mechanic or a fantastic teacher, that you have enthusiastically recommended to someone else without being paid a single dime for it. Now, next to each one, write down why you recommended it. What genuine problem did it solve? What tangible benefit did you experience or see? What made you so passionate that you had to share it? Be brutally honest. Dig deep. The deeper you go here, the more you'll uncover the truth about your natural ability to influence. The truth is, you're already a master at this. You recommend things constantly. So why does the idea of sales freeze you? It's that cognitive distortion, that inaccurate thought, appearing rational, but only serving to keep you feeling bad about yourself and holding you back. We're going to dismantle that belief piece by piece because your genuine enthusiasm is your most powerful tool. And remember, there's no good idea that can't be improved upon. You've already got the good idea. Now let's improve how you present it, starting with how you see yourself as an entrepreneur, as a home-based business owner. Why do so many people struggle when they first get into this space, this home business space, especially if they've been an unpaid evangelist for other products their whole life? It often boils down to a fundamental misunderstanding, a critical distinction, the difference between hope and belief. When you're just getting started in your business, you're often excited about the product, right? You've heard the testimonials, and you hope it works as advertised. You hope these stories that you're hearing are real. You hope you can get results like that. And let's be honest, sometimes deep down, you secretly wonder if these people sharing their stories are real. if the results are genuine. That's hope. Hope is a nice feeling. It's a starting point. It's a wish, but it's not enough to move mountains, or more accurately, to move products and build a thriving organization in your home-based business. I've coached countless entrepreneurs who weren't seeing success, and almost every time I discovered the same thing. They weren't actually believing in the product themselves. They misunderstood and mistook hope for belief. They weren't using the products regularly. They were trying to share something they hadn't fully adopted into their own life, something they didn't have a personal conviction about. How can you genuinely radiate conviction about something if you're not experiencing its power firsthand? How can you authentically transfer emotion if you're just reading a script? This is kind of like trying to convince someone to invest their life savings in a new stock, but you haven't bought a single share yourself. You can talk about the company's potential, you can recite the analyst reports, but there's a subtle energetic mismatch. People feel that. They don't need to borrow your hope. They need to borrow your belief. They need to feel your conviction. They need to see that you put your own skin in the game, that you're not just recommending something, you're living it. In our space as home-based business entrepreneurs, success isn't about mastering a slick script or memorizing objection handling techniques. That's traditional sales. That's selling at someone. This space is about sharing your story, your personal results, your genuine conviction. It's about educating people that your product exists and telling true stories of how it's helped you and others. When I started, I had a huge advantage. I was already a longtime customer. My prospects could feel my passion, my belief, because it was rooted in my own experiences and results. That's what shielded me from rejection. When someone said no, I didn't think, oh no, the product must be flawed. I thought they just don't get it yet. This conviction protected me from discouragement. In the book, I tell my story of going from delivering furniture and living paycheck to paycheck to having the freedom to live life however I see fit. This journey wasn't just about learning new skills, it was about transforming my identity. I had to shed the identity of Jim Tanner, the furniture delivery guy who hates sales, and step into Jim Tanner, the empowered entrepreneur who shares what he believes in. That core shift in identity, not just behavior, is what truly unlocked everything. And as I wrote in the book, transforming your thinking is a fundamental component to success in what we do, or in any pursuit for that matter. You see, your identity is the story you tell yourself about who you are. If your story is, I don't like sales, then you will constantly find evidence to support that story. You'll avoid opportunities, you'll feel uncomfortable, you'll probably get the salesy results you secretly fear. But if you begin to build a new story, a new identity around being an ambassador, an educator, a connector, someone who serves others with genuine value in their home-based business, then your actions will naturally align with that new identity. Let's talk about Les Brown. Many of you know that Les Brown he's a renowned motivator, but he's also one of my personal mentors. And Les would say, you don't get in life what you want. You get in life what you are. If you are someone who doesn't like sales, you won't attract the success that comes from sharing. But if you are someone who passionately believes in what you do and is committed to serving others, as a business owner, your results will reflect that. This isn't just about what you do, it's about who you are becoming. So let's get ruthlessly practical. Back to your journal. Because this is where the rubber meets the road. In your journal, make a list of every single product from your company that you personally use. If you're not using it, write that down. For each product you do use, write down one direct personal benefit you've experienced from using it. I don't know what business you're in, but be specific. More energy, lost 5 pounds, saved money, sleep better. Now, for each product on your list that you plan to continue using in the future, write why you will continue using it. And then finally, for each product, write down if you genuinely believe that other people would have similar positive experiences using it as well. If you find yourself struggling with this, that's okay. It's a moment of clarity. It means your work is to become a deeper product believer first. The more profoundly you experience the product, the easier it becomes to embody that ambassador identity in your business. Here's another big one, a distortion that cripples so many business owners. I don't like sales because it feels pushy, it feels manipulative. This is what I call, again, emotional reasoning, that false belief that your emotions are the truth, that the way you feel about a situation is a reliable indicator of the reality. And that feeling of pushiness or manipulation often comes from a deep-seated misunderstanding of what we actually do in the space, or what good influence truly is. I remember when my wife came to our first company convention, when she attended with me for the first time, she saw the business in a completely different light than I did initially. See, I was still thinking about commissions and leveraged income, and while those are certainly results of a successful business, they shouldn't be the driving force. But Danielle, in her wisdom, put it simply, the product helps the customer, and the commission you earn is the reward for serving. You share information about the product with someone because you see the value and the impact of the product. It's the right thing to do. You share because you would do so even if you weren't getting a commission. She explained that the commissions would be a result of the number of people I served in this way. And that, frankly, at the time hit me hard. And this is kind of like being a brilliant librarian, not a pushy book peddler. A librarian doesn't sell you a book. They listen to what you're looking for, what problems you're trying to solve, and what stories you love. And then they educate you about the perfect book on the shelf that they genuinely believe will bring you joy, knowledge, or a solution. They're not getting a commission for that book, but they're building a loyal community of readers who trust their recommendations. They're serving. When you recommend a book you love, you're doing the same thing. You're an educator and a connector. You're building a tribe around what you believe in. When you shift your mindset from, I need to sell this, to, I get to serve this person with something I genuinely believe will help them, everything changes. You're no longer trying to overcome objections. You're simply sharing a solution to a problem they might not even know they have. You're not selling, you're educating. You're providing a pathway to a better life, whether that's through the product or the opportunity itself. My grandfather, and many of you have heard me tell these stories, he was the postmaster in a small town, Proctor, Vermont. He loved his work. He loved serving his community. He knew everyone, their life stories, their children's names, their joys, their hardships. He'd stay late just so people could get their last-minute stamps or money orders. He even delivered packages in his personal vehicle at Christmas. Now, was my grandfather a salesman? He was a public servant, an ambassador of his community, who happened to go above and beyond for others. And the community loved him for it. I remember just the outpouring of emotion at his funeral because he'd made such a profound difference in people's lives. In small ways, he showed up in service, and that created an undeniable impact. That service mindset, that unwavering commitment to helping others, even if it means going above and beyond, is what truly builds your business. When I stopped trying to recruit people to serve my interests, and I started focusing on how I could genuinely help them achieve their goals, that's when my team exploded. I was attracting people who wanted to make a difference, not just people who wanted to make some money. Jeffrey Gitomer, in his book, The Sales Bible, famously says, people don't like to be sold, but they love to buy. And in his other famous book, Customer Satisfaction is Worthless, Customer Loyalty is Priceless, he drives home that genuine loyalty isn't just about satisfaction, it's about consistent, undeniable value. Value that transcends the transaction. This is the heart of what we do. This is what we do in our businesses. When you lead with value, when you educate, when you genuinely serve people, people will want what you have. They're not being sold, they're being helped. And they come back for more and they bring their friends. That's how you build true customer loyalty and team loyalty, not just a one-time transaction. You become the solution, not the problem. Peter Drucker, the business theorist, stated the aim of marketing is to know and understand the customer so well the product or service fits him and sells itself. See, this isn't about tricks or pressure. It's about deep understanding and alignment. That's true service. That's what a true ambassador, that's what a true home-based entrepreneur does. Now, as we're wrapping up, let's concrete this thing. Let's like make it. Let's make a shift. In your journal, list 3 specific ways your product or service would genuinely benefit a potential customer and measurably improve their life. Don't think about selling. Think about solving their problems or enhancing their experience. Next, list 3 specific ways joining your team as a part of the team with you as another distributor would genuinely benefit a prospect. Think beyond just money. Think about the freedom, the personal growth, the community, the mentorship, the transformation we've discussed. And then finally, list 3 ways you can serve your family, your friends, and your broader community with your product and your opportunity. Whether directly or indirectly, how does your home-based business opportunity create a positive ripple effect for those around you? The clearer you are on your capacity for service, the more compelling your message becomes. The final piece of this puzzle, I don't like sales, distortion often comes from a feeling of inadequacy. We think we have to be some kind of charismatic guru, a master persuader, or a smooth talker, and if we're not, then we'll fail. That's mental filtering, focusing only on the negatives and ignoring all the positives. We tell ourselves we're not salesy enough, not outgoing enough, not whatever enough. This internal narrative, this story we tell ourselves about our own identity, limits our potential before we even begin with our business. But here's the unvarnished truth. I've seen people with decades of traditional sales experience struggle and quit in this space. And I've seen teachers, pastors, factory workers, stay-at-home parents, nurses, military veterans, people with 0 traditional sales skills absolutely thrive. The deciding factor isn't sales skills. It's using the product, realizing a benefit from using it, and then genuinely enjoying sharing that result so others can discover it too. That's it. It really is that simple. It's kind of like being a movie critic for your friends. You don't need to be a Hollywood director to recommend a great film. You just watch it. You have an experience, you decide if it was truly great, and then you share your genuine opinion with your friends, maybe even telling them why you loved it and who else might love it. You're not selling movie tickets, you're sharing a good experience and helping your friends make an informed decision about how to spend their valuable time and money. You're an ambassador for a good cinema. You're trusted because your opinion is based on genuine experience and genuine desire for their good. See, when I started, I wasn't a polished sales professional. Delivering furniture and working retail hadn't prepared me for that, but I was a satisfied customer. I had a story, and I could tell that story. That's all this space is, really, word-of-mouth marketing. It's word-of-mouth marketing. It's simply the act of sharing your personal story of using and loving a product with other people that you also believe would get a similar benefit. That's the core. There's no pressure. There's no overcoming objections needed when you're truly leading with service and belief. Let's dive deeper into those historical examples of businesses that revolutionized the world, not by selling, but by providing indispensable solutions that created immense value, far beyond their cost. These are stories about the power of providing a true solution, fostering connection, and ultimately transforming human behavior through sheer utility and benefit. How about the telegraph? Before the telegraph, communication across vast distances was agonizingly slow and unreliable. News traveled at the speed of a horse, a train, or a ship. Suddenly, Samuel Morse's invention allowed messages or telegrams to flash across continents almost instantaneously. Was Morse selling the telegraph with aggressive high-pressure tactics? No. He demonstrated its profound value, the ability to connect people and convey information with unprecedented speed. Businesses immediately saw the benefit. Governments saw the strategic advantage in communication. Ordinary people grasped the power of real-time connection. It wasn't about convincing people they wanted a telegraph. It was about revealing a solution to a problem they didn't even realize could be solved so efficiently and reliably. The inherent value of rapid, accurate communication made it indispensable. And then the telephone. A few decades later, Alexander Graham Bell introduced the telephone. Now, you could talk to someone across a city. then across a country. Was Bell selling the telephone like a charlatan? No, absolutely not. He demonstrated the power of voice connection, the nuance of conversation, the intimacy of hearing a loved one's voice, the efficiency of immediate dialogue for business. The initial resistance wasn't about the need for communication, but the novelty of the technology. People adopted it not because of aggressive sales pitches, but because the value proposition, direct, personal, real-time voice communication, was so utterly transformative and aligned with fundamental human needs for connection. Then the internet and the smartphone. These are even more powerful examples. The internet, initially a tool for researchers, exploded because its value for information sharing, communication, and commerce became undeniable. Then came the smartphone. Was Steve Jobs selling you a phone? Or was he presenting you a device that put the entire world in your pocket? Communications, information, entertainment, navigation, banking, creativity, all in one seamless, intuitive package. People lined up for days, not because they were sold by clever tactics, but because the inherent value proposition was so massive, so revolutionary, that it created its own demand. It wasn't a want. It quickly became a need because it provided comprehensive solutions to problems you didn't even know you had until you saw it in action. It redefined convenience and possibility. These innovations became ubiquitous, not because of slick sales, but because they provided real, undeniable solutions that had value far beyond their cost. They weren't talking people into something. They were revealing a new, better way to live and work. They created their own demand through demonstrated value and inherent benefit. This is the mindset you need to adopt as a business owner. You're not selling a widget. You're offering a solution, a better way, a new opportunity. Gary Vaynerchuk, in his book, Jab, 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 Right Hook, champions this very idea, providing immense value, jabs, before ever asking for anything, the right hook. See, he's all about authenticity, transparency, and relentlessly delivering value to your audience. He teaches that in today's world, the most effective selling isn't selling at all. It's about being genuinely you, sharing your story, leveraging platforms to connect. This reinforces that you don't need a sales persona. Your authentic self, fueled by genuine belief, is your most powerful asset. He'll tell you, just be you, share your truth, and document your journey. People will be attracted to that authenticity, not to a sales pitch. This shifts your identity from someone who sells to someone who serves and someone who attracts. And it's a complete flip of the script in your head. This isn't just about changing what you do. It's fundamentally about changing who you believe you are. Your identity is not a static thing. It's a dynamic construct built on the stories you tell yourself, the beliefs you hold, and the actions you take. Think about it. Every morning, before you even open your eyes, you're telling yourself a story. I'm tired. I'm busy. I'm not good at this. Or, I'm powerful. I'm a servant leader. I'm an ambassador of value. Which story are you narrating? Because the story you tell yourself dictates the identity you step into, and that identity then dictates your action and your results. If you're currently identifying as someone who doesn't like sales, that identity will subconsciously limit your actions. You'll hesitate to share, you'll feel awkward, you'll miss opportunities because those actions don't align with your self-perception. But when you consciously decide to embody the identity of an ambassador, a purpose-driven educator, a generous connector, the true essence of a successful business owner and entrepreneur, then your internal dialogue shifts. Your actions become aligned. Sharing becomes natural. Connections become effortless. The psychologist Carl Jung profoundly said, "I'm not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." You have the power to choose your identity. You are not defined by your past experiences or your previous discomforts. You are defined by the choices you make today and the identity you intentionally step into. So let's make this actionable. In your journal, write down your current default internal narrative. That narrative that comes up when you think about sales or sharing your business opportunity, be honest. What are the negative thoughts or feelings that immediately come up? Next, based on everything we've discussed today, the mechanic analogy, the communications evolution, the concepts of belief and service, the idea of being an ambassador, write down a new identity statement for yourself. This isn't just an affirmation, it's a declaration. It's a declaration of who you choose to be in this home-based business space. For example, I am an ambassador. I am an empowered ambassador of a product, an opportunity that creates massive value for others. Or I'm a purpose-driven educator who connects people to solutions they genuinely need. Or I am a generous connector who builds business by serving my community with authentic belief. Choose one or create your own. Write it down, say it out loud, feel it, and then ask yourself, what would an empowered ambassador do today? How would a purpose-driven educator show up in conversations? What actions would a generous connector take? This is the starting point for your transformation. It's the moment you begin to live into your purpose, not just stumble into it. This distortion, I don't feel like, I don't like sales, I can't do sales, often masks a deeper fear. The fear of rejection, the fear of judgment, the fear of not being good enough. It's the fear that if you try and someone says no, it validates your self-doubt. But when you operate from a place of genuine belief and a service-first mindset, rejection loses its sting. It's no longer a rejection of you or your product. It's simply a mismatch of needs or timing. It's simply not for that person right now. In 10X, Grant Cardone talks about operating from a positive position of massive action and abundance. This isn't about being pushy. It's about understanding that if you genuinely have a solution that can help people, it's your duty to get it in front of as many people as possible. It's not about scarcity, trying to get a sale because you're afraid there won't be another. It's about abundance, knowing there are millions of people who need what you have, and your job is to compassionately educate them about it. When you operate from that level of conviction and action, fueled by purpose, the salesy feeling vanishes. You're simply doing what's necessary to serve a large population. You're not being a salesperson, you're being a highly effective ambassador of change. Think about a lighthouse. A lighthouse doesn't chase ships, does it? It doesn't force ships to come to shore. It stands tall. It emits a consistent, powerful beam of light, and it guides ships safely to harbor. It's a beacon of safety and opportunity. It operates with purpose, consistently, regardless of whether a ship is currently in sight. Its value is inherent in its presence and its consistent signal. When you operate as an empowered ambassador in your business, driven by genuine belief and service, you become that lighthouse. You consistently share your light, your solution, your opportunity. And the ships that need it, the people who are looking for that guidance, that value, that solution, will be drawn to you. You're not selling, you're illuminating. You're simply shining your light. This, my friends, is the true nature of what we do. It's not about manipulating, it's about manifesting. It's not about convincing, it's about connecting. It's not about pushing product, it's about pulling belief forward in yourself, in your product, and in the people you serve. You have the power to create a massively successful home-based business that is an extension of your purpose. A business that empowers you to live free financially, mentally, emotionally. A business that helps you bring clarity, belief, and duplicatable systems, not just to your own life, but to the lives of countless others. It's time to shed that old limiting identity of, I don't like sales, and step into the truth of who you really are. A purpose-driven ambassador, an educator, a connector, ready to make an authentic impact as an entrepreneur. Since On Purpose came out, it's been absolutely incredible to travel across the US and Canada, speaking at events. I mean, meeting thousands of people just like you. And What I've heard over and over again, in person, in direct messages, in emails, is how much the book has resonated. People tell me it's not just a book, it's a roadmap, it's a mirror. It's a permission slip to finally step into their true potential. They've told me it's helped them to make money, not just a few dollars, but significant income and mindset shifts and purpose shifts. I've had conversations with countless individuals who picked up on purpose and found themselves saying that Jim gets it. He understands what I'm going through. They've told me how the distortions I outlined, like the ones we're discussing today, this false idea that you don't like sales, felt like they were written just for them, and seeing the clarity, the renewed belief, the purpose in their eyes as they share their own breakthroughs, their newfound confidence as business owners. That's why I wrote the book. That's why I do what I do. It's why I continue to travel all over the US and Canada. Where I'm at now, as I'm recording this, I'm looking out over a beautiful ocean and palm trees in Riviera Maya, Mexico, on a trip that our company allowed us to qualify for, and there's hundreds of us here sharing this experience together. Folks, I was a full-grown adult before I ever got on an airplane. I didn't get my passport until years later, and I've been able to walk the beaches of the world because of this business space, and I've gotten the opportunity to speak to so many of you. And today, I just love that I could be here to record this and bring this message to you. So, if you haven't grabbed your copy of On Purpose yet, understand this. You're not just buying a book. You're investing in a transformational journey. A journey that thousands of others have already embarked upon and are raving about. It's been a force of nature, a conversation starter, and a blueprint for building on purpose, not by accident. And it's waiting for you to pick it up and dive in, just like so many others have already done. It's not a secret club. It's an open invitation to clarity, belief, and freedom in your own home-based business. Now, let's create your personal strength-based affirmation to combat this negative thinking. This is about declaring your new identity. Based on everything we've talked about, what is your new truth about sharing your product and opportunity as a home-based business owner? Something that pulls belief forward. Write it down. Say it out loud. For example, I radiate belief in my product and I'm grateful for the ways it has helped me. Or I already have the skills I need to educate others about the benefits of my product. Make it yours. Make it bold. Make it a declaration of your new identity as an ambassador, an empowered ambassador, a purpose-driven educator, a generous connector. Speak it into existence. This is who you are becoming. All right, so we've peeled back the layers of this. I don't like sales idea, this distortion. You've seen how it's often rooted in a misunderstanding of what our business space truly is. You've uncovered your own innate ability to recommend what you love. You've begun to shift your identity from salesperson to educator and connector and ambassador. Now here's the challenge, and it's a bold one. I want you to make a conscious decision right now. Just stop using the word sales in your internal dialogue about your business. Replace it with sharing, educating, connecting, or serving. It might feel weird at first, but language shapes reality. What you call it is what it becomes. And then today, right now, I want you to go out and share your product or your opportunity with someone. Not with the goal of selling them, not with the goal of recruiting them, but with the pure, unadulterated goal of serving them, of educating them about something you genuinely believe could make a difference in their life, just like it has in yours. I want you to visualize this right now. Close your eyes if you can, if it's safe. Picture yourself approaching that person, a friend, a family member, someone you know has a problem your product or your opportunity could solve. Feel the genuine desire to help them. See their reaction as you share your story, your conviction, your belief in what you're offering. See them listening, nodding. Feel the ease in your own body because you're not pushing. You're simply sharing from a place of purpose. This isn't about their yes or their no. This is about you. You stepping into your true identity as a purposeful leader who serves others. Feel that sense of authentic influence. Feel the relief of letting go of the sales burden, because that was never who you were meant to be anyway. So, are you ready to truly transform your business? Ready to stop feeling salesy and start building a business with authentic influence and purpose? This episode is a powerful first step, but it's just the beginning. I've created a brand new free resource specifically for those of you listening today based on the insights from this episode. It's called the Authentic Influence Playbook, your guide to sharing what you love without feeling salesy. This isn't just a download, it's a tool, and I think it's very powerful. It's designed to help you to audit your belief, to get crystal clear on your personal conviction in your product or service, to embrace your ambassador identity, practical steps to embody the role of educator and connector. I want you to master the art of authentic sharing. I'm going to teach you how to present your product and opportunity from a place of genuine service, not pressure. This is free, and it's your next intentional action step. It's designed to give you clarity, concrete exercises, and an unshakable belief system, directly addressing the mindset blocks that we've discussed here today. So to get your free copy of the Authentic Influence Playbook, head over to my website, which is jimtannerchallenge.com. It's the front door to a deeper transformation, a place where you can learn the systems, build unshakable belief, and truly forge your identity as an empowered, home-based business owner and an entrepreneur. So don't just listen, act. This free resource is waiting for you so you can take control of your path forward. Now, we're wrapping up, but next time on Purpose, the podcast, we're tackling another massive distortion that holds countless incredible home-based business owners back. We're going to go into distortion number 3, the idea that you have to get in early. Have you ever thought you missed your chance, that the timing isn't right, that all the real money was made by the pioneers who got in on the ground floor? We're going to blow up that myth, show you why the greatest opportunities are often right in front of you, and reveal how you can absolutely dominate regardless of when you start. Your time is now. Don't miss it. Until then, remember, you are enough. You are capable. You were born to build a life on purpose. Now go out there and serve.